And next on the line, we have Near.
Near speaking of what is it? Yeah.
What?
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 Yeah,
All
how
right.
gay is
Speaking
your
of
While we're
series?
on
straight
the top,
boys.
yeah, while we're on the topic of homosexual.
My series is not gay. My series is straight
Yeah.
and cool
Hell
and
yeah.
badass. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe you. I've
That
seen more than enough Twitter posts to not believe you.
Believe it or not, it's not gay actually.
I'm just saying it's the series is not
Okay, if
gay,
the series is
but
not gay, but is
the
it gay to
pictures.
watch the series?
Yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is the pictures,
You might have gotten me there.
yeah, the screenshots coming out from that series has turned more people gay than either Sasaki Tomiano or Tasukade out of focus
That's
would
true.
have.
That is
So
true.
I
yeah.
still think, hey, I still think the reigning champion will still be fucking what's it called? Right off the bat with Genshin Impact with Venti. I still think that's gonna be the reigning champ.
Yeah.
I've seen many an artist on my Twitter
I think
feed.
you were a little biased there, but
Well,
Oh my god.
bro is speaking from personal experience.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but anyway,
Oh my
I
god.
watched Nige Jouzu no Wakagimi,
Yes.
also known as the Elusive Samurai. Um,
Yes.
this is the Cloverworks series of the season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, are they doing multiple?
I
No,
don't
right?
think so. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and it is a sort of period piece. You know, ancient Japan, shonen,
Mm-hmm.
sort of revenge story. The basic setup
Yes.
is the main character, Tokiyuki Hojo, um, is basically the first heir to, you know, the clan, um, the shogunate, as it were. And one day, spoilers, um, as it happens in history, the clan gets betrayed and they get fucking wiped out. Um, pretty brutally, in fact. Um, and Tokiyuki, being the sort of master at running away and hide and seek, you know, he escapes with his life, um, with the help of a pretty shady prince, or sorry, shady priest known as Yorishige Suwa. Um, and he says that with his divine vision, he sees Tokiyuki as being a hero in the future, sort of redeeming his honor and you know, taking revenge basically, on the guy that betrayed his clan, which is, what's his name, Takauji Ashikaga. Um, and the series sort of goes from there and becomes a sort of mini arc shonen series where he, you know, gets stronger, makes some friends, and takes revenge on the people that killed his clan. And some pretty interesting battles, pretty interesting fights, and the main thing for this series, realistically, the main appeal, I guess, the main draw, are the visuals, right? Um, so it's probably worth tackling that first and foremost. Again, Cloverworks series. Let's see, who's the like animation director on this? There's like 8 billion episode directors, but I don't know who's key directing, key animating. Fasto? I don't know who that is. They've worked on Spy Family, Made in Abyss, Bleach, Onimai, Solo Leveling. Awesome. Here we go. Ayaka Hozumi, who's worked on what is this? What is this called? Oh, yeah, Spy Classroom. What is this? Oregairu OVA movie thing. Heaven's Feel. Yeah.
Hey, I
But
know
yeah,
that one.
yeah. There's a lot of fucking key animators on this. So yeah. The
Yeah,
main
they're
thing for
bringing in
this,
some, yes, some a couple of in-house people, but a lot of veterans from outside as well. I
yeah,
think.
for sure. A
Yeah.
lot of guest animators on this one. But yeah, this series is visually kind of like a bit of a masterpiece, I'd say.
Yeah, it's really pushing the like upper quality limits of like what we know is possible
Yeah.
in the industry currently.
Um,
Yeah.
so not only is it, I mean, first and foremost, it's just like remarkably well animated. Pretty much everything from character acting to just like basic movements from, you know, running, walking, jogging, everything in between, jumping around, uh, climbing trees, stuff like that, is incredibly well animated. There's a lot of really fluid movement to it.
It's what we thought we would have as a standard in 2024 is sort of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
It's like what we dreamed we would have, but then we kind of didn't really get. Yeah.
there's a scene in, I think it's, yeah, it's episode 2, um,
Uh,
where there's a character that's sort of wrapping a cloth around a sort of spinning top, um,
yes.
and it's close up of his hands, right? And he's wrapping it around a cloth, and I think it might be rotoscoped, or at the very least it's obviously we're using a reference, but it's like so insanely smooth, and like the cloth is well animated, the hands are like perfectly animated, um and it's like such a small like little scene. It's just like so well animated, it's kind of crazy. um
Mm.
so you have stuff like that, and then uh this is very much a sort of comedic series as well. So there's a lot of slapstick
Uh-huh.
stuff, there's a lot of Sukomi, and they change animation styles quite often. Um, there's also moments where it's sort of, instead of doing like, say for example, a long exposition dump from a character, it goes into sort of a history book type narration, right? Where it's like this person was like a historical figure known for X, Y, and Z, right? And
Mm.
sometimes it'll do like a sort of um, like ancient Japanese painting kind of representation. Sometimes it'll
Oh,
do
okay, okay, okay.
more of like a
Like, are we talking
uh,
ukiyo-e paintings or what?
yeah,
Is that
kind
what's
of.
going-
Sometimes it'll do a more like, you know, like a modern, something you would see in like an actual textbook kind of thing. Sometimes
Hmm.
they'll do little, just like little 3D graphics almost. Um, there's like a little bit where the characters are like playing this dice game, and they do like a 3D, like uh almost like a video game, like a Mario, like overworld kind of thing.
Mm.
Almost like a Mario Party thing, right? To represent the dice game, and then some of the characters like comment on it, like because they show like a train, right? And they're like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh.
Right? Um, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool sort of style shifts, and it's all very
It's a
well
very
animated.
like, yeah, that's a very similar to, um it's a very almost Shaft-esque, the whole like, Shimbo, Onomashin, kind of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
sorts of like
It's not
vibes. Yeah, where they're
quite
just trying to add in.
as, yeah, it's not quite as surreal. Like it's not pulling
Yeah, yeah.
like random live action pictures of fucking,
Yeah.
key
Yeah, yeah,
animators that are working
exactly.
on the scene or something. But it does do it like animation shifts quite often.
Okay.
Like for example, there's one character that's like running through um forest that's like, scared for his life and stuff, and it takes on this really like rough, like almost like a rough draft like sketch kind of thing, but it's like in motion,
Uh-huh.
and it's really really cool. Um, there will be stuff where like early on, I think it's in episode 2 where they fight the one of the dudes that um betrayed the main character's brother, um, he's like a real like piece of shit, right? Like actual
Mhm.
just like horrible person. And when cuz he puts on this sort of like fake persona, like play nice to like, try to get in the good graces, but then when he reveals his like true nature, his face like shifts into almost
Orcs, yeah.
um like the Japanese like oni masks.
Oh,
Like a
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
They
Hanya?
Yeah, like they do that to his face, but it's got like almost like a purpley shadow over it. Um it's all very, very impressive, and like it's none of it feels unnatural either.
It's kinda similar to, like, you know how in some comedy series they have, like, let's say, like, the nice One-san or, like, the teacher or whatever, but, like, the moment that's, let's say the main character gets caught doing something perverted or whatever, they turn into that Oni face, whatever.
Yeah,
You're right, it's
yeah,
like, they morph it's kinda like that, yeah.
yeah. Um there's a couple bits in action sequences where like it goes into this almost like in the old like Street Fighter 4 cinematic trailers where they had like the black like painting kind of
Yeah.
streaks on them.
Mhm.
It does that in a couple scenes, and yeah, it's just a really, really good looking series. And it's
Yeah.
very consistent as well, which is really nice. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, overall, definitely like easy front runner for like best looking anime of the year. Definitely for sure best looking anime of the season, just like bar none. Um, I'd be pretty shocked if something else comes out this year that looks better than this. Um, but yeah, as for the music, it's also pretty good. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a period piece anime. A lot of strings, a lot of woodwinds, very um, Japanese, right? Uh,
Right.
Oriental, as they say. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's definitely very fitting, very immersive. Um, there's like for the overall audiovisuals, I think the only gripe I would have is there's a sequence in I think episode 4 or 5 where they're doing this sort of archery battle on horseback, right? And
Huh.
the thing with horses is you definitely do not want to draw those by hand, right?
Yeah,
So
I know.
it's
Yeah, most of the time they're 3D
largely,
models, yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
largely CG. It doesn't look terrible, but it is a bit jarring considering how like good 2D animation looks in this
Yeah,
series
I'm also
for it to
guessing
go
that
from that to
the 3D horses aren't like moving. They're not, you know how realistic horses have like a little bit of that like bump kind of up and down
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
shaking kind of vibes. 3D, I'm guessing the 3D horses don't really have that as much.
No, they are not animated like Red
Yeah.
Dead Redemption, so you know.
Yeah.
But
Their
yeah,
balls do
um,
Yeah.
not shrink in the snow.
fortunately not. But that's kind of my only gripe. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as for the rest of it, like I said, it's a pretty comedic series. But it's definitely not like this series is not afraid at all to get like really fucking dark. Um,
Huh.
it's definitely not afraid to show quite a bit of blood either. Um, so I'm almost kind of shocked that this is labeled as a shonen and not a seinen
Mm.
with how bloody it gets. But
You're yeah, surprised it wasn't kind of put in like a different magazine. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I'm not sure if the manga gets quite as gory as the anime does. Maybe they amped it up for the just for the anime, but I don't know. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty up there. Um, a lot of heads getting chopped off, a lot of blood fountains shooting out of necks. Um, as samurai do. Um,
Right.
but yeah, the balance between the sort of more serious stuff and the comedy is pretty good. Um, again, it is mostly a revenge story, but it doesn't get like angsty about it.
Yeah.
It is more of like just I'm taking revenge, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
not like,
because
oh, like,
like
but
he has,
yeah,
the sort of honor of a family of like samurai, right? It's not like he's like,
yeah,
this isn't some like Kagurabachi shit where he's like, I wake up every day with a fresh plate of hatred, Um,
yeah,
he's kind of just like, yeah, this guy killed my family. So
yeah,
it's kind of like my duty to kill him, right? Um,
yeah.
so as for the comedy is actually quite good. It really helps that the priest dude that I mentioned earlier, who's pretty much like the main source of slapstick comedy, is voiced by
Mhm.
Nakamura Yuichi, um,
Yep.
and he does quite a good job. Um,
Also, a lot of the smaller kind of like shadow roles, including obviously the main character, are voiced by these female voice actresses as well, which
yeah,
is a little
yeah,
bit. I mean, I wasn't that surprised, but I was like, oh, okay, okay, this the tack they're taking on.
yeah.
Yeah.
The main character Tokiyuki is voiced by Asaki Yuikawa, um, who's a relative newcomer, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's
what's
yeah,
her?
she's done a lot more, a decent number of supporting roles, but she's definitely a little bit more on the up and up more than anything else. Yeah,
Yeah, this seems to be her biggest like main role. What
yeah,
was this? Tonari no Yokai-san was her last like other main role.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that
Um,
was a little bit,
yeah, that was
smaller,
a
I
bit
think,
more
role.
niche.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, some of the others are uh Yuki Aoi voicing Genba, who's like this
Hmm.
sort of kabuki ninja thief who's like constantly playing pranks on people. Um, Hineki Yano is Shizuku, who's like a shrine maiden who's assisting the priest dude. Um,
Mm.
and then you have Marihino, who's one of the other young lad retainers to Tokiyuki. And then Sayumi Suzushiro is like the third retainer who sort
Yeah.
of makes up the main cast. And they're all quite good. Um, they bounce off each other quite well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They're relatively experienced people overall. I think there are a couple of others here. I think I would say I haven't heard of Yano Hinaki as much before, or
yeah.
Hinomari, but I think most of the others, again, as you mentioned, Suzuhiro Sayumi, Yuki Aoi, some of the others again, obviously Nakamura, Konishi Kasuga. A lot of the others are pretty much established veterans there, so they're kind of holding the boat afloat.
Yeah, I will say, I actually didn't notice Yuki Aoi was voicing Genba. She seems to be
She hired her, yeah.
hiding her normal sort of tone quite well.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm.
yeah, definitely doing a good
It's
job
similar
there.
to again, kind of. It's like a kind of Hanazawa kind of business where, um, when they're doing like a supporting kind of something, maybe like a deeper role or whatever, it's very like they hide it quite well,
Yeah,
especially I think
yeah,
as they're aging. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't really want to give too much away for the story because again, I do
Hmm,
think this is
hmm.
a pretty good series. It's definitely worth watching. Um, especially if if you're like me, I like, ancient Japanese period pieces quite a bit. Um, and this one is quite good. It's got really good visuals. It's got really good action. It's got good comedy. Um, it's got a pretty good story, in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing about it to me that's like bad. Um, it very much serves its purpose in sort of uh, pushing the plot along. Nothing about it feels slow or too fast. It feels well paced. Um, yeah, it's overall solid, I'd say. OPED, I think the OP is fun visually. I think the song is a little bit generic, but I still like it. It's Plan A by Dish. The ED is
Oh,
um a bit more, I guess. I mean, it's going for almost like this sort of. The ED for me is weird because it's like it's going for this sort of like Carnival Phantasm kind of comedic tone,
Ah, okay,
right?
okay, okay.
Where they're sort of like they're riding this bus around and the characters are in sort of uh
But it also,
more
like, is it that sort of series? Is my question. Like, it has
um
comedy, but yeah.
a little bit sometimes but like the main issue I have is it
Uh-huh.
shows the characters that are like straight up like evil, like actual just like evil horrible people,
Oh, okay, okay.
and they're like dancing around and playing it up with the gang, and it's like you don't belong here, dude.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
bro
what.
thinks he's on the
Okay.
team.
Yeah, there's also a couple
Yeah.
characters that are like they're like
That's
dead
weird.
in episode 1
Yeah,
and they're in the
yeah, I was about to
ED.
say, I thought when you were initially about to mention, like, the evil people, I thought you were gonna say, yeah, there are people in the ED that are just
Yeah, there are
dead.
people in the ED that are like, yeah, this character was like raped and killed in episode 1. And I'm like, why
Oh
is
my
this character
god.
here? Like why is this character in the ED for this entire series? I think that's
Yeah.
probably not probably not great. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
A
not like
little
a
bit
bad
weird
ED,
storyboarding.
but it's just like some of it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But Nier, you haven't answered the most important question.
What?
How strong is he?
Um he's pretty weak actually. Um
But how
they
fast is
definitely
he?
he's pretty fast. So the main thing that they sort of go through in his like training arc, right, is they kind of like because when he was sort of a prince, right, he was constantly shirking his sort of training, like his martial training, because he thought it was lame, thought it was dumb, right? Um, and so he's pretty weak, but he's really good at running away. He's really good at dodging attacks because he's really fast, right? And he's pretty good at archery, right? And so the sort of training arc they go through is like, well, um, surely your superior speed will get you victory every time. Um, and that's pretty much what they do. He's pretty much
Okay.
like pretty much every battle he's won so far is like I'm just like so fast that nobody can hit me. Um,
So has he met? Is this the Shukchi, or what? What is his
Sounds
speed
like
technique
a
called?
Ranking of Kings copy, I think.
yeah, true.
What's his speed
Um,
technique called, Nier? It's not the Shukchi.
no. I mean his like the again. I think I posted a clip of it in one of the most recent episodes, but like his speed is the way they represent it in one of the more recent episodes. It's he's almost like he's got like shadow clones is how fast he is, right? Um,
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
but yeah, it's very much like a sort of death by a thousand cuts kind of thing is like his sort of
Mm.
strength, right? Um,
Mm.
and also, he relies on his friends, Smile. Um,
So he's faster than Seta Sojiro.
probably, yeah, he's pretty fast.
So he's fastest. I mean, so he's faster than Kenshin, huh?
Maybe.
But can
I,
he
he's
beat?
probably not. He's probably not stronger than Kitchen.
But
He's
can
pretty
he beat
weak.
Kenshin? Because remember, Kenshin has the Amakaku Ryu no Hirameki.
That's
It's a
true. I mean,
counterattack.
he probably cannot be Kenshin because, like, in terms of like actual sword fighting, he's pretty weak. So, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he is fast.
yeah.
So,
But yeah,
All right.
but
Pretty good.
near well,
yeah.
so you're saying he can't beat a servant, huh?
No, definitely
Well,
not.
servants have like
Hey,
legit
man.
supernatural powers at that point. So, yeah.
So
Uh,
so okay. So let's bring him up to servant level. Servant level. Can he beat Okita
level.
Soji?
Um, I'd say if you brought him up to servant level, he'd probably be comparable to Ushiwakamaru.
Oh,
It's probably the most. That's probably the most like direct
so he
comparison
can
I'd
defeat
say.
the Tsubame Gaishi.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, I do want to move on. I guess any last words? And plus, I got I actually want to mention this before we talked about this before the podcast, but I do want to bring it up again. I know there are some people that are just like, oh, all like the Sakuga stuff that you see on social media. If you just take that away, the fucking story is shit and the series is shit. It's like, do you have a response to that?
Well, typically, if you remove the visual aspect from any piece of visual media, it does typically
Especially
get
if it's like a good,
worse.
yeah.
Um, believe it or not. I will say it is obvious that the visuals of this series are a definite strong point, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think the story is like phenomenal. Like I said, it
Yeah.
does its job, pushes
But
plot
it's not like
forward.
horrible like Guilty Crown was, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, yeah.
And honestly, I'm gonna spit out a hot take here. I think this is paced so much like if you're a fan of shonen with
Uh-huh.
katanas and samurais, people fighting with samurai swords, this is paced a million times better than Demon Slayer. Just straight up.
Wow, a
Yeah,
hot
I mean,
take. A
Demon
So
hot take. You
Slayer is
mean
Yeah.
Demon
pacing is
Slayer that
not,
Demon
yeah.
dedicated an
Slayer
entire
Demon
season for
Slayer was
nothing?
dog shit. Demon Slayer season 1 was ass. I'm not gonna lie.
so near.
Oh my god.
This, would you say this is Yusei Matsui's best work?
Um, is that the author? The
That's the
original
author,
author?
yes.
What else have they made?
They made Tante Detective Nero and Assassination Classroom.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did make Assassination
Oh, he
Classroom.
made
Yes,
Assassin
yes.
Class. Okay.
Ass class.
I mean, Ass Class was like pretty cool, but I feel like as it went on, it was kind of just like, all right, can we wrap this up?
It
You
just
know what I mean?
it became even more
Yeah,
shonen,
yeah.
I would say, yeah.
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 It's hard to say because I haven't read the manga for this. And
Mhm.
like I said, the visual component for this is definitely a strong point. So it's possible if I read the manga, I would end up saying Ass Class is better. But in terms, if I was just to compare the anime, I would say this is way better. Um,
Mhm.
but
You want my
Okay.
hot take there? You want my hot take?
for it,
He still hasn't beaten Tante Detective Nero, his first work.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
so I guess
I
any
mean,
last words then?
has anyone else read that or just me?
No, I
I
don't think.
never read it myself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, final rating. I'd probably give this. I give it a strong 8 for sure. It's definitely good at
Okay.
what it does. I really like the comedy. Um,
Mhm.
again, I think Nakamura Yuichi kind of carries the comedy a little bit. Um, but all the characters are pretty good on their own too. Um, the
Right.
the action sequences are phenomenal. Um, the visuals are obviously like absolutely fucking stellar. And yeah, overall it's a solid package. It's good just shonen series, If you like shonen, there's like literally no reason at all not to watch this.
Yeah. And also it's just, look, everybody's always wanting that sort of really well animated action sequence that's not just from, say, uh, Ufotable or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, here it is. Like this is this is the dish you want. Like
Yeah, I mean
what?
this is definitely Cloverworks sort of pulling in all the stops to be like, hey,
Mhm.
Magnum
let's just hire every good animator that we can get and then
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
push out some absolutely insane
Is it their
sequences.
magnum opus near?
Um
Cloverworks for Cloverworks? I
visually
don't. Yeah,
that's tricky, right?
visually, yeah.
Because, Cloverworks
Mm,
pushed out fucking Bocce the Rock, right?
damn, it's better than
Yeah.
It's better than Bochi the Rock.
It depends
I
what you're
think
looking for,
visually it
I
it
think.
could definitely vie
Because
for it for sure.
I
Yeah.
think creatively, I'd say
Mhm.
Bocce the Rock is probably a bit above. Although, in terms of raw, like Sakuga, I'd say
Mhm.
this and Fate Grand Order Babylonia are
Ooh, okay.
like neck
I'll
and
take
neck.
it.
Mm,
Because
okay.
Babylonia was like Babylonia's highs were like some of the best animation the industry's ever seen, right? But I think
Mhm.
this is like rivaling that and is also a bit more consistent,
I
right?
mean, so the
Yeah.
So,
Sakugs is
It's
better than
across
Spy
12
Family?
episodes. Yeah.
I would say definitely, yeah,
Is it better
Yeah,
than
for sure.
the Bisque doll? This is
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah,
beat.
because Bistal is not, I mean, it's
Hey
not an
man,
impressive
the best.
visual.
Hey, the best Sakuga was when she was on top of him, and he's like, "Oh, remember that
Yes,
scene?
true
Hell yeah,
Sakuga is when you
true
see boobs
Sakuga
on
is
top of your
boobies.
face.
That's so fucking true, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of people on the
hey
internet that
man,
would agree with that
Yeah,
hey
statement.
yeah, and they all love fucking Makini, right?
Oh my god, fucking shake my head.
hey man,
Anyways,
never count out Grenadier. Grenadier is awesome.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
If you don't know what
Anyways, any
Grenadier
last
is, it's the
words?
famous it's the famous revolver scene.
Yeah.
Um,
eh,
I mean, last words or you should watch it. It's good.
Okay. Pretty good. Definitely better than,
Darling
just
in the
as good
Franks,
as
wasn't that also Cloverworks?
yeah, Darling in the Franxx.
That was Trigger, sweaty. That was all Trigger.
Is
Excuse
that
me,
Trigger and Cloverworks or
trigger.
is that Trigger and A1?
It was Trigger in A1, and I think that like that year is when Cloverworks broke off from A1.
Yeah,
I
right.
was
So,
it oh, okay. I thought Cloverworks
because
broke
I
off
think
pre-Darling
Cloverworks,
in the Franxx.
no,
Wasn't that their first work? No?
their
Oh,
I'm pretty sure their first Cloverworks' first
work
solo
oh,
work,
okay.
if
It
I
was
remember
just slow
correctly,
start. Yeah, it was a slow
it
start.
was well, technically it was the Persona 5 anime.
Oh,
Um,
no.
because
No, it
I
wasn't.
think they were
They made
called
They started Darling in the Franxx before Personal, but no, no, no. I think what might be happened is they probably announced and started work on Persona 5 the animation, but it was released later than Darling in the Franxx. That could have been a thing, in my
maybe,
opinion.
yeah.
Because Darling in the Franxx came out before, according to this like timeline that I'm looking on Wiki. But it could very well be the case that I mean, it's likely that it was the case that Persona 5 stuff like happened way before because they planned out
I
Persona
do
5.
think they were
Yeah.
because they were like an umbrella studio under A1, like but still called
Yes.
Cloverworks before they broke off, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, yes,
I
yes, yes.
think Persona 5 was the first thing they did after breaking off, right?
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
think,
mm-hmm.
but that was quite a while ago, so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. After their initial kind of like slow start Darling in the Franxx Persona 5, and Persona 5, and they and a little bit of Ace Attorney, they split off into like a separate studio entirely.
yeah.
And after that, they started doing stuff like Bunny Girl Senpai, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Nier, for helping cover this. I think this was probably one of the most important series we had to cover this season, and I'm glad that it panned out all right, and it wasn't as all the memers on the internet suggested, just like complete shit without the visuals, bro, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it turned out fine.